Hi, it's Dwyer, GamblersAdvisory.com, DwyerBoxingNews.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk about this upcoming fight between Andre Berto and Robert Guerrero. Now, let me just say, you know that motto about drinking? They say know when to say when. I'm gonna say when on this fight. I'm on the sidelines. This fight to me is simply too dangerous. I'll be blunt. I just don't know enough to make a prediction on this fight. There's one question that I simply cannot answer. And that question is, which Robert Guerrero shows up? I'll just say this. I personally feel that if prime Robert Guerrero shows up, if the Robert Guerrero who beat Michael Casitas shows up, if he's in that kind of shape, and he's throwing those kind of combinations, and he's pumping that kind of jab, and he's able to dictate distance against a fighter who likes to get inside and mix it up, then I feel Robert Guerrero would win this fight. Here's the problem I have. He fought Selçuk Aydin. I actually picked Guerrero against Aydin. But as I watched the fight, there came a moment in the fight, about halfway through the fight, where Robert Guerrero started getting hit with power shots. More specifically, he started getting hit with Aydin right hands. And of course, Aydin is hitting him with very hard right hooks, and from underneath, Aydin hit him with very hard uppercuts. Now, as one of my subscribers, Black Messiah, has pointed out in the comments, and I thank him, in the comments to some of my videos, Selçuk Aydin doesn't remotely have the explosive hand speed, just the explosiveness that Andre Berto has. And unfortunately, for Robert Guerrero, the kinds of punches Selçuk Aydin was landing on Guerrero with regularity are exactly the kind of punches that Andre Berto throws well, right? If you're getting hit with a Berto right hand repeatedly, you're on the clock, right? Good luck finishing that fight. Let me just say, in researching this fight, I looked at the CompuBox numbers because I was concerned. And of course, I find out that Aydin landed 42% of his power punches against Robert Guerrero, right? Understand, Aydin's money punch is the right hand. If Andre Berto is landing 40% of his power punches against you, good luck with that. If you want to see the kind of damage that an Andre Berto right hand can do, just look at the right hand he landed on Carlos Quintana that caused the ref to literally leap in and stop the fight. And let me just say, if you saw that as it happened, just watch it in real time. You're going to see Carlos Quintana's head snap back so violently that you can just imagine what would have happened if Andre Berto would have landed a few more of those shots. You'll also notice too that Victor Ortiz, in a fight Ortiz won, 1 minute he's upright, he gets hit with, some Berto hooks, then he's on the canvas. That's the kind of power Berto has. Now let's talk about the problems with Andre Berto, why I'm not taking him in this fight. Now I know that Berto loves fighting southpaws. He seems to be making a career of it, right? Luis Collazo, Carlos Quintana, Victor Ortiz. I understand Ortiz is inverted, but my point to you is simply Robert Guerrero. My point to you is it's interesting to see an orthodox fighter fighting this many southpaws. And it seems to be by design, because there are other guys out there who, quite frankly, Andre Berto could try to fight. He tends to gravitate towards southpaws. Now, you know what they say about southpaws. You can control a southpaw with your right hand. Ironically, that's Berto's Sunday punch. But when I watch Berto's films, something's just not right. Right? First of all, if you go back a few years and see him against a fighter named Cosme Rivera, he gets rocked in that fight. Well, we know Berto can get rocked in fights. We saw him get rocked in the Victor Ortiz fight. Right? He's on the canvas multiple times in that fight. He's hurt early in that fight. In my opinion, the Luis Collazo fight could have gone either way. Right? Berto against Carlos Quintana, we remember the knockout, the stoppage. But I'll tell you what, early in that fight, I thought Quintana was the slicker fighter. I thought Quintana was giving Berto all he could handle. Now, as I watch Berto's trying to be Floyd Mayweather. He's trying to tuck his chin like Mayweather, Adrian Broner, Carl Froch do. Right? But understand, if you're not good at it, if you can't keep the shoulder here, if you're a free swinger and that shoulder becomes loose, your chin is exposed. And looking at Berto films, to me, he keeps that left hand a bit too low. He's not great at protecting his chin. He ends up getting in shootouts. In my opinion, you can actually throw punches over Berto's left hand. And of course, southpaw Robert Guerrero has an excellent, and I mean excellent, right jab. Quite frankly, I think Robert Guerrero is the better technical fighter. But he was out 15 months with torn rotator cuff problems. Right? Robert Guerrero then fights Selçuk Aydin. Understand there's a weight dynamic. He jumped 2 weight classes to fight Selçuk Aydin. Right? Robert Guerrero doesn't have a lot of experience at 147 pounds. And understand, make no bones about it, Andre Berto is an explosive puncher at 147 pounds, right? We remember Berto getting knocked down by Victor Ortiz. Just remember, Victor Ortiz got knocked down by Andre Berto, right? Take a look at the Freddie Hernandez fight if you want to get an idea on Berto's power, right? So, as I look at this fight, I don't really know what to make of it. I'll say this, I don't see Andre Berto winning a decision in this fight, right? I just don't. But, wow, with Berto's power, Berto could get a stoppage. Let me point out, too, that Robert Guerrero, to me, is underrated. I actually privately believe he's better than Juan Manuel Marquez, right? I think this guy would be one of the better opponents for Floyd Mayweather, right? My problem, though, is Guerrero wasn't Guerrero his last fight, and the previous fight was 15 months earlier against Michael Casitas, 2 weight classes below where he is right now. So, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this fight. I'll say this, just keys to watching a fight. If you see Guerrero come in there, and if he looks like Robert Guerrero, if he's popping a jab, throwing combinations, keeping Andre Berto at the end of a jab, if he's not dealing with Andre Berto up on him like Jean Zavik was, if he's able to keep Berto off of him, and just look at where his jab lands, if he's throwing the jab over Berto's left hand, right? In other words, Guerrero has to not only be pumping the jab, he has to be landing the jab, right? And if he's able to routinely get it over Berto's left hand, in other words, if Berto doesn't come in with a high guard, and if Berto's trying to roll with the punch, then I think Guerrero's going to have the upper hand, right? Conversely, If, like in the Aiden fight, Guerrero suddenly gets tired, he's in the middle rounds, maybe it's fatigue, maybe it's just distracted, I don't know. But if he suddenly loses focus like he did in the Aiden fight, and if you start seeing Berto landing right hands, I'm not too concerned about his left hook. If Berto starts landing right hands, and if you see Guerrero eating the right hands like he did against Aiden, in other words, if Guerrero's not able to do something about the right hand, and if you see Berto landing uppercuts, then just understand, I don't care what the scorecards are. Guerrero could be pitching a shutout to that point. He's going to be in serious trouble. He can't afford to do that against Andre Berto. To sum up, I'm on the sidelines for this fight. If this is Guerrero of 2 years ago, he should win it. If this is the Guerrero of his last fight, he should lose it. I think it's up to Robert Guerrero on who wins the fight. Let me also say this too. If Guerrero gets lulled into a shootout, and it's happened, go back in time and look at a fight that they wiped from the books. Guerrero against Orlando Salido. Right? Salido beat him, then got stripped because he failed a drug test. Right? The win got expunged. If Guerrero gets caught up in a shootout with Andre Berto, especially if he's caught up in that shootout early, this fight's over. I would take Berto in that situation, simply because, understand, Salido is not close to a welterweight. Right? Berto hits hard for a welter. Just understand, this is only Guerrero's second fight at welter. I understand he was weighing in the 150s a few days before the fight. Who cares? Right? The question is, what kind of punches is he accustomed to taking? And Berto hits hard. So I don't know who's going to win this fight. My advice to you, if you're a gambler, is to just count your money and feel glad that it's in your pocket. Right? If you're a boxing fan, this, quite frankly, is a must-see fight. Right? Either Guerrero is going to show you what a skilled combination punching fighter with a great jab can do, or Andre Berto is going to get inside of that jab and show us what a guy with power and a great right hook and a great uppercut can do. Right? It's a light switch. It's an either or. The one outcome I don't see happening is Andre Berto winning this fight by decision without several knockdowns. Right? If this is like the Peter Quillen, Hassan and Jickham fight, where the superior technician keeps hitting the canvas multiple times in the fight, okay, maybe Berto can win the decision there. But if Guerrero stays on his feet for 12 rounds, I do not see Andre Berto winning a decision. Let me hear from you. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.